All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Racers News Network. We're going to dive right into this because our guest tonight, Tom Fox Jr., is actually live at SEMA as we speak. So, good evening, Tom. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, Chris. Thanks for having me on today.
Are you very welcome? So, you decided to make the journey out west. Obviously, we got a kind of a lot of ground to cover about what's going on out there with SEMA and everything. But let's start off with what made you guys decide to make the big trip?
Well, it all started off with a little hurricane that was coming up the coast from Florida, and they canceled the last race of our East Coast Division One series regionally in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, for the last recent points race. So as a result, we didn't want to finish our season that way, and we decided that we were going to go. Yep, we were going to go to Dallas because of that race being canceled. So we made the trek from New Jersey, 26-hour tow, out to Dallas for the Fall Nationals in Texas.
Very cool. Now, is this your first time jumping in the rig and headed that far out west?
Yeah, the furthest west we've gone with our rig has been Chicago, but that's pretty far north, so it's a straight shot. It's about 16 hours or so west for us. But this is our first time ever coming to the Southwest. So 26 hours down to Dallas.
Very cool.
When we got down there were 23 cars that were competing for 16 spots. So we were, unsure what the weather was going to be like and how things were going to be. But we wound up qualifying fourth, and we ran a 5:23 at 276 mile an hour. And qualifying fourth in a big field like that, it was the second fastest field ever in the history of Top Alcohol Dragster with like a 5:27.9 bump spot.
Wow.
So it was incredible. And for us to be able to qualify there was just awesome. So, once we got out there and we went a couple rounds, NHRA competition, and we decided that, what, we want to try and go a little bit further west. So my dad told me absolutely not, but we wound up going to Vegas, and we just competed in the second Vegas event there for the Fall Nationals in Las Vegas.
Very cool. Now, as far as racing goes, are you guys all done? Are you staying for the divisional and then maybe going to California, or is you headed home after SEMA?
We're done on the regional standpoint as far as races and count. So okay. We're going to go to Pomona. This coming week, we're going to go to the Irwindale Hot Rod Revival.
Cool.
And Rocky Perone's going out there with the Big John Mazmanian car. So we're here at SEMA with him here now. And we made our rounds through the place here. SEMA is an incredible gathering right now. Between the racers and all of the events and the show and the cars. I mean, it's one of the largest collections in the automotive industry trade show anywhere in the country.
Very cool.
Certainly one of the biggest ones in the world.
Awesome.
So it's awesome to be here for sure.
Now, is this also your first time going to SEMA?
Yes, we've been to PRI a couple times, but never to SEMA. So it's very similar to PRI, but bigger. Yeah. And you have a lot more of that West Coast influence. And the weather is beautiful. When we do PRI in December, it's 30 and snowy and cold. And here it's 75 and sunny and warm in Vegas. So completely different environment.
It's a dry heat, right?
Dry heat plus Vegas is a city that doesn't sleep,
Chris. Very cool. Well, if anybody now, obviously you have Bobby with you, I'm sure, right?
Bobby Toth is an incredible travel companion. He drives the funny car that Steve Busser and him own. It used to be owned by Rocky Roxaloo, yep. But that's an awesome car that he runs. They actually just won the event up at the drag strip in New Jersey, Island Dragway. So to see Bobby and Steve Busser and Rocky Roxaloo's family all be on hand to see him win that. The Time Bomb is a classic, Vega bodied funny car with an incredible paint job that Rocky Roxaloo painted on there. And I think they went a 665 or 666 to win the event. They set low ET the meet, and they beat Krista Mazzarella in the final there, which was so cool.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that's very cool that you guys were able to make the journey out there. So let's back up just a little bit. Let's talk about your season. You seem to have a pretty good year all in all.
Well, it's been our best season ever. Currently, right now, we're only 1 point out of 11th in the nation for top alcohol dragster. We're currently in 12th position. We have 358 points, and Taylor Vetter's 1 point in front of us with 359.
Oh, wow.
So right now we're competing for a top 10 spot, but we won the ATCO regional. We went rounds in Indy. We went rounds in Maple Grove. We went rounds in Florida. We went rounds in Dallas. So this has been my best season ever. And the good part about it is we haven't been hurting a lot of parts. That is until Vegas.
Right.
We blew up a transmission here in the second qualifying pass. It kind of gave us a little bit fits and trouble, but nothing we can't fix, and be ready for Pomona.
Very cool. Well, you guys are always a lot of fun to hang out with. You know, your dad just is a machine when it comes to that car.
Absolutely. You know, we certainly have the motto that we work hard so we can play harder. So, you know, when the work's all done and the car's, you know, put under the cover, a car looks a little bit like a Batmobile when it's under the cover, all black California car cover.
Right.
But yeah, it's a special thing to be able to do this with my dad. He's 73 years old. Here we are traveling across the country and experiencing the West and all this year. It definitely has been an experience that I'll never forget.
Now, what is it like being from the East Coast and going out to the West Coast? Does it have a really different vibe to it than it does out here, Tom?
Well, you know, it does. And you know, the racers that do this, that do a full season, or they do the Southern swing and they go west, they're laid back about it, right? They know that their season, they still got a couple more races. Normally by this time of the year, we're all done, right?
Yeah.
But the vibe is different. The vibe's a little more chill. You know, we were just in the pits with Dwayne Shields and Dana Hopewell and Cam Brady. They actually won Vegas, and with Madison Payne driving, who is Jay and Shelly Payne's daughter, granddaughter of Brad Anderson. So we were, we raced them a couple of times this year. I beat Madison Payne on a hole shot in Indy in the first round, and but they got the better of everybody here in Vegas and wound up beating Tony in his debut, driving for Mick Phillips, as Smoke, as they call him, right? He won he went all the way to the finals and lost by 0.2 of a second. I think they said it was about an inch in separation at the finish line for those two. So, you know, our class is extremely competitive. In top alcohol dragster, right, there's two variations of our class. One is a supercharged methanol alcohol breathing Brad Anderson power plant, right? And the other is an injected running nitromethane. And up until this year, the nitromethane cars have been completely dominant. And this year, there's been a little bit of a balancing. They took some temperature away for how low they can chill their fuel. And right now, 50 degrees is on point for both alcohol and the nitro. But when the air's good, as it was in Vegas, it was extremely good, better than it normally is in Vegas. And the playing field wound up being dominated by the fuel cars. And when the weather's not as good and the corrected altitude is up in the 4,000 or 3,500 foot, it favors the blower cars. But this year, the corrected altitude was closer to 2,200 foot when everybody was racing going into the final rounds because it was cool. There was no humidity. So those fuel cars like it when it's cool, and they like it when there's low humidity. When it gets hot and humid, they don't do as well. So, it's still a little bit of an advantage for the 8 fuel cars, but certainly we've had, when we won the event in Atco, we had to face Karen Stalba, who was the #1 qualifier, first round, and she had been consistently running 530s. And we struggled a little bit. We smoked the tires in qualifying and came into that event dead last. And first round of eliminations, when we faced her, we ran a 535 at 272 and set low ET of the event. And because of the way the ladder was, we wound up getting a buy into the final, and we raced Dan Dietrich. And Dan had run between testing, qualifying, and all the way to the finals, like 8 passes in a row without smoking the tires. And they scraped the tire right before final round, or scraped the track. And we went up to the line, and both cars smoked the tires. I smoked them instantly. He was out about 60 foot, and he started to pedal it. I tried to pedal it again, and it smoked the tires hard again. And I got out of it, and then I just squeezed the throttle. And even though I pedaled it 3 times, the car still went 266 mile an hour in the quarter. And we took home our first Wally. So some people have said to me that as a driver, there's nothing better than earning a victory on a pedal fest. And that was my first pedal fest victory. So we had a bunch of firsts for, my father and I on our team. Our first regional event win together with a father and son driver tuner. Our first whole shot win against Madison Payne in Indy at the U.S. Nationals, if you're going to do it. An 029 light to her 059 light was the difference at the stripe. And then, to qualify, 4th in Dallas and go a couple rounds there too. It's just been magical for us. The only thing that we're missing that would help us to complete this season would be to come home with the World Finals national victory at Pomona, which is an iconic track. And part of the reason that I told my dad I want to do this is I said, you're 73. Who knows if we're going to get to do this again? But I want to drive into the mountains, the snow-capped mountains of Pomona. So I'm excited about racing there. Racing in California. We're going to go to Irwindale, this weekend. And it's kind of like living a dream. I'm still working in the mortgage business. So anybody out there that needs home financing, please give me a call. But I have my laptop. I'm working remotely, and I'm living the dream right now.
Awesome. Now, with having somebody as notable as Stuart coming into your class, did that help bring a little bit more interest in it over the past couple of events?
Well, you know what? They announced it about 2 weeks ago, and it certainly created a big media buzz, not only in NHRA, but in the drag racing community. Because Tony Stewart's been in everything, that goes round and round, right? So he's been on dirt tracks, he's been on modifieds, he's been on, the big circle tracks. And, as an owner of a pro NHRA team, both funny car and top fuel dragster, for him to come out and get his license, it certainly brings publicity and excitement to the alcohol class.
Very cool. All right. So obviously the season's not quite over yet, but are you looking ahead to 2023 and kind of rubbing your chin and going, maybe we'll see?
Well, you know what? We exceeded our expectations for this year, and now that can only raise the bar for us next year. And next year the season opens in Gainesville because they're not starting the first race in Pomona next year. But we'll go down there and we'll race the regional and the national event in Florida. And we look to continue our success. We've learned a lot this year. And, we're already working on plans to go to the next level.
Very cool. How about PRI? You're going to hit that, or is it going to be kind of rest and relax after this journey?
Well, who knows? But PRI is always a good place to go and meet people, see people, and continue to, make your connections. So PRI is really the drag racing specialty. So I think we'll probably go out there and just continue this journey.
Very cool. All right, Tom, how about the people that help make your program operate every week?
Absolutely. So first of all, we couldn't do this without my father. He's the driving force behind us. Tom Fox Sr. Bobby Toth has been with us off and on for many years. He's been with us, a lot this season. Luke Ellis is our clutch guy who's been tireless. And he said, look, if you're going west, I'll fly out, I'll fly back every time, and I'll be there. And he's been with Dallas and Vegas. Now he's going to fly out for Pomona. Brian List, certainly my cousin Renee and her husband Donnie have helped us. They live in Florida and they fly up and support us at different tracks. But from a crew perspective, Brian List is a good buddy of mine who I reconnected with from high school, and they did that. He's been at a lot of races. Julie, who's been a big help and a big part of what we're doing and supporting, my father and I and our team. But my mom, my sister, her family, we got a family thing going here, and that's been awesome. But from a sponsor side, we have Fast Signs that's done a lot of graphics work with us. Jeff Chudoff has been phenomenal to work with. Penn Grade has sponsored us for oil for the past few seasons. BP for fuel, NGK for spark plugs. Olson Machine is one of the places that does a lot of machine work for us, and they sponsor us with money and with time and support, and have certainly helped us develop parts and take things to the next level. Without all of them, and there's dozens and dozens of people that are behind the scenes that nobody sees, that help us at the house when we're working on the car, working on the trailer. We just had a capital investment in our trailer. We replaced all the axles, all the tires, all the wheels, all the bearings, all the hubs, all the brakes, airbags, and that allowed us really to come west. We were afraid that we were going to blow tires before, and now this is something that allows us to, keep going. So without all of their help and contribution, but, I would be, one of the things that made our program turn around was some help and some sponsorship from Annie Mac and Cash to Keys. That's the mortgage company I work for. And the Cash to Keys program has really helped a lot of people win bids on homes, and it's been instrumental for us. But the car itself has never been better, right? Originally, it was built by Brad Hadman, and this year we went out to Richie Crampton's shop, Indy Speed Shop in Indy, and he did a front half for us. And then we had Anthony DeSario do a new carbon fiber body for us. So our car has never responded better. And when I pedal the car, it hooks up and goes straight, as opposed to getting sloppy and messy and all over the track. So there's so many people behind the scenes that are important to us, and we're really excited about all the things. And, we got some surprises coming for next year that I can't talk about yet, but we're always talking about and working on moving forward and going faster.
Very cool. That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear it. Like I said, I enjoy going and hanging out and shooting the bull with you guys at any event that I can get to when you guys are there. And I invite anybody who's at a national event or even a divisional event that you guys are at to go over and say hi to the Fox family, and don't be afraid. They're not going to bite you. They're more than happy to talk to you.
We love putting families and kids in the car. And, there's one other family that I wanted to just talk about that's become part of our family and our team. So Joe and Rachel Pollock and their daughter Bella and their son JJ, who just recently passed away from cancer, have been a big part of our family and helping working on the car and being there for us. So, we've been able to touch a lot of people's lives, Chris, and we're fortunate and grateful to be able to do that.
And that actually reminds me, not this past season, but the season before, I think it was, you guys did a huge fundraiser as well.
We did, yeah. We raised $306,000 and sponsored 6 blood cancer research grants with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And as a result, I became Man of the Year for 2020 for our fundraising efforts and helping to fight blood cancer.
Awesome. That's incredibly cool that you guys did that. Well, listen, Tom, we're going to let you get back to having fun with the boys and walking around SEMA and enjoying Vegas. But if people want to check out your racing, where can they find you?
Yeah, they can just go to Facebook is probably one of the best places to see us. So Tom Fox, and then we also have Fox Racing Top Alcohol Dragster page on Facebook, and they can also find me on Instagram at tfoxtab183.
Very cool. Well, listen, Tom, thank you for taking time out of your experience at SEMA to come on and hang out with us for a little bit. Like I said, we're going to let you bug on out and go hang out with the boys and have some fun.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
All right, Tom Fox Jr., everybody, our guest for tonight, going to be headed out to Pomona to race in the season finale in their Top Alcohol Dragster. Thank you again, Tom. Have a great night.
Thanks, Chris. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Again, Tom Fox Jr., our guest this evening, made the journey from New Jersey to Dallas to Vegas, and then going to Pomona for the season finale in their Top Alcohol Dragster. So congratulations to them. So obviously, huge weekend in the drag racing universe. Obviously, Tony Stewart brought a ginormous media experience to not just Top Alcohol Dragster, but to the NHRA world as well. Maybe even expose them to a different audience than what they normally have. Smoke's a great guy. People can trash him however they want, but he is a cool guy and brings a lot to the table with his motorsports investment. But the other big thing is, you may have heard, a certain young lady won her 5th world championship. Of course, I'm talking about Erica Enders in the finale against her teammate Troy Coughlin Jr. She ran 664 with an O at 206.86 miles an hour to defeat Troy Coughlin Jr. in his Camaro, who ran 666 with an 8 at 206.48. Now, a couple of stats about this here race. Enders is 7-4 against Coughlin Jr. in prior events. Each has won one time against the other in final rounds. Coughlin had a slight advantage on the tree, but Enders had the lead by the time they went by the tree. Never fails to win from there. Never trails, from there to take the win. She wins her 10th Wally this season, 10th this season alone. Her 43rd in her career. This is her 9th win at Vegas. Her margin of victory, approximately 8 feet to take and secure the championship. So big congratulations to Elite Motorsports, Erica Enders. Congratulations on your 5th World Championship. So the rest of the results from the 22nd annual NHRA Nevada Nationals at the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This is race 21 of 22, and again in 2 weeks from this past weekend, season finale in Pomona. Top fuel, Brittany Forrest, 3.705 at 332 miles an hour to defeat Mike Salinas, who ran 3.702 seconds at 324 miles an hour. Funny car, Matt Hagan and his Dodge Charger defeated Robert Height in the Chevy Camaro. Again, Pro Stock, Erica Enders over Troy Coughlin Jr. Pro Stock Bike, Hector Arana on the Buell against Matt Smith on his Buell. Defeats Smith. Again, Hector Arana Jr. takes the Wally. Top Alcohol Dragster, kind of covered that a little bit when we interviewed Tom. Madison Payne defeated Tony Stewart for her first national event win. Tony Stewart, this is his first event in the Top Alcohol Dragster, recently licensed. So how about that, making it all the way to the finals? And like I said, they figured the margin of victory was roughly an inch. Top Alcohol Dragster, Doug Gordon and the Chevy Camaro defeated Andy Whitley. Comp Eliminator, Jeff Taylor defeated Jared Grainer. Super Stock, Tyler Wudarzik defeated Greg Stanfield. Stock Eliminator, Leo Glassbrenner in the Chevy Camaro defeated Steve Wan in the Plymouth Savoy. Super Comp, Ken Mostowich defeated Gabriel Torres. Super Gas, Chris Lewis defeated Dave Holmes. Top Dragster presented by Vortex Superchargers, Aaron Stanky defeated Jeff Korn. Nostalgia Funny Cars, pretty cool. They had nostalgia cars there. Always got. I'm a big fan of the nostalgia stuff. Bobby Cottrell in the Chevy Camaro defeated Billy Morris, who red lit, or as Pete likes to say, lit the cherry. Summit Super Pro, the bracket finals. Everybody made the trip from their respective home states to Las Vegas to battle for the supremacy in the Summit Super Series for bracket racers. So Summit Super Pro, Carl Deal II defeated Brendan George. Summit Pro ET, Andy Anderson defeated Steve Lambert. Summit Sportsman, Jason Hildebrand defeated Paul Northrup. Summit ET Motorcycle, Gareth Shepard on the Hayabusa defeated Dalton Markham, also on a Hayabusa. All right, so the one class that everybody's been complaining about because they don't like it, they don't think it has a place in drag racing, but hey, we've beat this horse many times. Of course, I'm talking about the Summit Street Legal Electric Vehicle class. Craig Mariles in his Tesla at 11.548 at 115 miles an hour defeated Alex Fangman, also in a Tesla, who ran 12:42 at 114 miles an hour. That's pretty cool. You know, the cool thing about the electric cars, you step on it, it's all right there. So that is all the results from Las Vegas. Congratulations to all the winners and all the champions in the bracket finals. Bunch of people from Division One made the trip. DJ Cox, Matt Gill, Tom Fox, Phil Molicella. The Kenny family was out there. I'm sure I'm missing a few. I apologize. But it was a great weekend of racing. And congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to Erica Enders on her 5th championship and her 10th Wally for this season. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. See what happens. Championships to be decided. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our show tonight. I want to thank Tom Fox Jr. for coming on and hanging out with us. Don't forget the holidays are starting to creep up on us. We're going to make a few changes before, during, and after the holidays. Take a little break. We will let you know, but we will be back next Tuesday night on a recording. Again, unfortunately, this is how I have to do it for a while because Facebook decided a post from a few years ago was not okay. And if anybody wants to know what the post said, it was, that sounds like a bad idea. When can we do it? It was not a big deal. It wasn't anything really bad. But we will be back next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock via recording and then YouTube post. But thank you again to Tom Fox Jr. And again, congratulations to everybody out in Vegas. If you are still there and you're at SEMA, enjoy yourself. And if you're headed to California, check out, I think it was, he said it was Irwindale for the California Hot Rod Reunion. Have a great night, everybody. That is that. We out of here.